The man accused of murdering him, YNW Melly, is on trial accused of killing another man too. Juvie's dad is here with his story. I'm Anjanette Levy and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. Testimony is underway in the trial of Jamel Demons, known by his stage name YNW Melly. Melly is accused of murdering two members of his group, Chris Thomas, who went by YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, who was known as YNW Sack Chaser. The men were shot to death in an SUV after leaving a late-night recording session on October 26, 2018. With Melly and another group member, Cortland Henry, Portland was driving the SUV. Later that morning, Portland showed up at the hospital. Juvie and Sack Chaser were dead in the car. Melly was not with them. Chris, first of all, I know this has...
Now, mind you, is this normal behavior for your homeboy? Both of your homies just got killed.
Later that morning,
you trying to get them
showed up at the hospital. Juvie and Sack Chaser were dead in the car. Melly was not with them.
I would be running in that bitch. Heart in my ass. Please, y'all, hurry up. Hurry up. Come on. Like, just saying. I'm just,
Chris, first of all, I know this has been a difficult almost 5 years now.
This right here is Juvie dad. He got a YouTube channel, Spoonful of Game, man. Y'all go check him out. He go daily and talk about the case from his point of view, and he tell y'all shit that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to get him up on the channel. He go into depth. He tell about what happened the day after the murder when 100 Track them pulled up. He tell you what the city think. He tell you shit that we wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? But he's Juvie dad.
How are you doing right now with this trial finally starting?
It's kind of overwhelming at times, but doing the best I can at the moment.
A lot of people may not know a lot about your son. What do you want people to know about him? We know he was, an aspiring rapper. He was part of this YNW group.
Chris was a good kid. He's the second of my oldest boys. He's the oldest of his mom kids, and he loved his whole family, loved all his friends, and he just got caught up for being too loyal and got betrayed by one of his so-called friends. A sad situation for everybody.
Now, let me stop there right there. Juvie dad whole thing is that Juvie was loyal to Melly. He didn't, cross Melly in no type of way. He wasn't even the one that had an issue about the money type shit. It was more of Sack Chaser who was stressing the issue about the money. So for them to kill Juvie, it was like, damn, like he wasn't even the one, causing you any trouble. But Juvie was, to me, from all the stuff that I'm hearing, closer to Sack Chaser than Melly. So if Melly was gonna allegedly kill Sack Chaser and Juvie there,
nigga know the one they had to get rid of too. They probably know what his character was.
By him being
he probably wasn't gonna let that shit slide. He probably was gonna, ride on them.
Facts. Or tell on there. Because Sack, from what I'm understanding, him and Sack was closer than him and Melly. So if he closer to Sack and he see Melly kill Sack, allegedly, then that might be bad for Melly.
He might rat, or he might tell. So they gotta, that too gotta get rid of, because he might let that nigga more than he rock with that nigga more. He might tell. So either way, gotta get rid of him too, man. That's correct.
Right.
Because it's my understanding that Juvie was friends with Melly and Sack Chaser for quite some time. Tell me, when did you first come to know Melly?
I met Melly around like 99.
That's crazy.
Chris met him. Situation for everybody.
Tell me a little bit about that, because it's my understanding that Juvie was friends with Melly and Sack Chaser for quite some time. Tell me, when did you first come to know Melly?
I met Melly around like 99, like a couple years before Chris met him. I was friends with his Melly's mom, best friend at the time, and that's how I got to know Melly. Then Chris got to know him after that. They was all good kids coming up, just laughing, playing, joking with each other, having fun, like to hang out with each other, and he loved them boys, and he loved them to a fault.
So he was friends with them since they were little kids then, it sounds like.
Yes, man. We went to elementary, middle school, high school, all together. That's how I know his mom as well, and his stepdad, and the rest of his family, Melly's family. And the music started, I think, around 2000, maybe 13.
And they were just all making the music together? Yes.
Started from rapping at school until making music together and coming up with the name, the YNW, and it just went from there. And Sack and Chris and Melly and even Jay Green was all founder members of the YNW. Melly was just the face of it. I say now that Chris and Anthony is gone, now he just took everything over.
It sounds like your son and the other guys had a lot of really big dreams.
Yes, ma'am, they did. They love music, they love to perform, and they was on their way like to do big things, and it just got cut short. Like this tragedy. Everybody that's around still trying to pick up the pieces. Like a lot of families got broken with the situation.
Melly is saying that he is innocent. His defense attorneys are saying the state can't prove its case. But it's my understanding you believed from the very beginning that Melly was responsible for your son's death and the death of Anthony.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was responsible for my son's death on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation, when I finally talked to him in Cortland on a FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They never came to town, never came to my son's funeral, never came to Sack's funeral. And these are your best friends. He passed straight through the county of Indian River, went to Brevard and did a music video, but he couldn't even stop and pay his condolences to his best friend's mom. He even got Jana tatted on his neck. That's why his defense attorney got him wearing turtlenecks and shirts to hide his neck, because he got the Jana tatted on his neck. That's Sack mom's name, and he got Chris' name and Sack name. This guy, that guy is just, I have no words for that guy.
What was it in particular that was said on that FaceTime?
Now, I would say this. Now, his dad saying that, Melly didn't pull up at the funeral or even came and talked to his mom or anybody. But from day one, they knew or they felt like Melly did it. So do you think it was safe for Melly to pull up to the funeral or to the mom house?
I wouldn't have pulled up either. I see what the internet said.
He's supposed to, even if it's not safe, I'm still pulling up, because that's me. I'm still gonna show my, I don't care if I'm the number one suspect all around. Me being genuine, I am. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
I see. I can see that if you innocent, but like you gotta see emotions high too at the same time. So like I don't want to be a topic of whatever they got going on. Like I meet with his mom or Pops or his family separate. I'm not gonna come where it's no big event where they make it an event. You feel me? I'd rather do that shit. If it's personal, I do it personal.
Okay.
Nigga saying he ain't do no reach out, so that's gonna make them be like, all right, I'm picking the other side. I'm going
like,
against you then.
Like, say, you feel me? Like, say, like, okay, you might have not went to a public event, but you could have still reached out to Mom Deuce before or after or whatever was happening. Like, you feel me? That's how I would have did it. If I was, and you know how people get, you know how they pull liquor and everybody together and emotional, control nobody. Shit, Mama could have told him, don't do nothing. He coming and then motherfucker still feel some type of way, and it could have hit different. And then it's gonna be more bodies.
And then we got to take this, you know what I'm saying, into matter to that. The day after, they sent 100 Track to go talk to the family, and it almost went down because off rip they felt like Melly did it. So if they was finna get on Track ass the day after, it would have most definitely went down if Melly put it.
If Melly was there, it was
that made you think that Melly was responsible.
Nothing was said. Actually, like the demeanor. It was like the body language, really. Nothing was said. Actually, like the demeanor. It was like the body language, really. Like I was just reading them, and as I'm telling them and asking them questions, I got so emotional I started crying. They wasn't reacting to. They act like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind that something's not right. Something's not right.
Did they tell you anything about what they claimed happened with the drive-by they claim happened?
No, they had absolutely no explanation. Like we had to figure it out just like the police.
Chris, why do you think that this happened? Why do you think, Melly did this? Because, Melly is on trial. The state has to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed these crimes. But why do you think this happened?
I think the story about the $200,000 with Anthony was a true story because it's not reported, but Chris told me the same story, and also it was a $500,000 play, and Melly was going to get $200,000, Sack was going to get $200,000, Chris was going to get $100,000, and as I'm hearing it from Chris, they was going to sell the YNW brand, not a record deal or nothing like that. It was like for the brand itself. And by them being founding members, they was going to get a piece of the pie. So I don't think Melly did it on his own. I think that manager guy got in his ear and did a little advice. Because if it was up to Sack, it would never be a 100K management.
They were going to sell the YNW name for licensing or to sell products. So what do you mean they were going to sell the name?
For marketing, licensing, stuff like that.
So mind you, let me let y'all know why Sack play a big part into this, right? YNW Melly was just the face of it. Sack is like the CEO of that motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? That just like I got Music Gang. That's just like I got Music Gang, and Iceberg is my artist, right? And Iceberg blow up. He the face. Nobody knows me, but Iceberg is the face of Music Gang. And he repping Music Gang, but technically I'm the motherfucking owner. You feel me? So Sack wasn't getting paid like he's supposed to have been paid by being the CEO of YNW. So if they was gonna just say if they was gonna sell it, Sack gotta approve to sell it. YNW Melly don't have say so like Sack got say so. Sack got damn near just as much as say so and even more than Melly.
So they own a name. Like he was owning that name before 100K Track came in this.
YNW Melly been a thing before Track came involved in this situation.
I'm Track saying it's a trademark, dude. I'm saying
they already had it.
Name.
Right, that's how they selling it because they own that motherfucker. That's how they was gonna sell it. You know what I'm saying? But Sack was like the CEO. YNW Melly was just like the main artist. That's why both of them splitting even 200, and your boy Juvie was gonna get 100 because he don't play a big part like Sack and Melly do. So Melly couldn't do nothing business wise without Sack anyway when it came to YNW.
They didn't want to go up on the big umbrella just to push them, I think. Push the brand more global. That's what I'm thinking.
And so you think that Melly wanted a bigger cut of that then?
I think Melly didn't want to give them guys nothing. He wanted to be the only one to shine. And then they came to town next day and gave the mother's 15,000, the other mother 10,000. So I thought to myself, if Sack was going to get 200,000, Chris was getting 100,000. We could pay these people 25,000 and keep 275,000. That's how I saw it. It just nothing added up. Melly still to this day for me to hear him call them boys his best friend is an insult. That is an insult.
Was there any sign of bad blood before your son's life was taken and before Anthony was killed? Or was there any tension there that you knew of?
Not with Juvie, not with Chris, but you heard things about him and Anthony getting into like altercations about disputes about money over certain situations, and they got in a fight prior to that, and they said the story that they say Sack beat him up and knocked his goals out in front of his girlfriend, and like 2 days later, I think that's when the incident happened.
Chris, I know that something that has to be really hard about this is the fact that there are relatives here, relatives of Cortland Henry, who are also.
Hold on, and that changed a lot of shit too. If Sack knocked his teeth out 2 days ago before it happened about the money, why the fuck is he there with them in the studio?
Yeah, right.
Just of the victims.
Yes, Chris and Cortland share a sister, and she's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Cortland share the same mom.
Okay, so let me break this down for y'all that don't understand. Juvie and Cortland share the same sister. So technically, them motherfuckers was like half brothers. The one that was the driver and the one that got killed, one of the ones that got killed, got the same sister.
Oh.
So relatives of the victims.
Yes. Chris and Cortland share a sister, and she's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Cortland share the same mom. And she took the side of Melly. She still to this day screams Free Melly all on her Facebook, Instagram. She'll go live with Free Melly shirts. And
so her brother got killed by allegedly Melly, and she's screaming Free Melly.
Yeah, he different.
Melly probably don't put that rod to her, man, and she.
Damn, why nigga have to ride her down, bro? What type of time you on for that?
Hey, that's the only way I can see it, gang. Damn, nigga. Damn. Killed my brother. Nigga, allegedly.
She got love for him, man. But you see how we play devil's advocate? We both on each side like that.
She picking Melly over family. That's different.
But
say you are someone.
No, but technically she not though, because the other co-defendant that's being charged in this murder is her brother too.
Her brother. So what are you talking about?
It's whoever brother she closer to.
Right.
She's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Cortland share the same mom. And she took the side of Melly. She still to this day screams Free Melly all on her Facebook, Instagram. She'll go live with Free Melly shirts, and they just got her brainwashed with the money. They just showering her with gifts and Cortland, and got my daughter just brainwashed to the fact that she wishing the killer of her brother was free. I just don't understand that. That's a heartbreaking feeling, man. For me to see that daily, her saying that, that's just heartbreaking.
Do you talk to your daughter about
No, bitch, obviously not.
We haven't talked. She was living with me up until the time shortly after the funerals, and then we went our separate ways. I haven't talked to her in over 2 years.
So it sounds like you lost 2 children.
Yes, ma'am. And them the 2 that look like me the most, and it's crazy.
Are you hoping that this trial, maybe at the end, things can change with your daughter?
Yeah, once you see the truth and them boys get convicted, I'm hoping that her whole demeanor change. But knowing them, they're gonna be like, wait till the appeal. He's still innocent. Wait till the appeal.
Facts. That's what I was about to say.
It's gonna be a process.
We don't know how good of a daddy he was.
The first day of the trial.
Yeah. Or he cloud chaser. Who was you?
You watch.
You say what you said, bro?
I said it. We don't even know how good of a daddy he was. That shit means something. For your daughter not to pick daddy's side. It like what type of daddy you was to her. Like that's like nigga, that shit different. Daughters and daddies, nigga. That's like a mom and a son.
And is you clout chasing right now, and she knew it.
I don't think he really looking in his face, dog.
Bro, come on now. It's
really
good
kept about that
it's
shit. I
good
can tell I can tell he kept about that shit.
Hey, you been on YouTube. Hey, you been on YouTube long enough.
The clout just come with it.
You've been on YouTube long enough. You see a lot of these motherfuckers capping on here, and they look serious. You've been on YouTube long enough.
No, I know. So that's letting you know. If I've been on YouTube and I know how shit is, so I gotta.
You trust him?
I gotta believe it.
No, I don't believe that nigga.
I don't think he clout chasing just because the day after the murder he been standing on it ever since then. Like, that nigga killed my son the day after the murder. Like, damn near the day of the murder when they talk.
Watch today as well.
I think it's going pretty good. It's just a long process. Just got to trust the process in my book. And I think she's doing a good job. I think once the ballistic, the forensics, the cell phone, and when they showed that Chris got shot on his left cheek, and Chris, he got shot from this side of the car on his left cheek with stifling on his face and the burn marks on his face from the gun muzzle. All that's going to point in one direction to that guy that was sitting in the back driver's passenger side.
And remember when I told you that they found burn marks on his cheek from the gun? Only way that can happen if the gun was pressed against his
cheek. You. That's called contact fire.
So that means he was shot from somebody inside of the car.
That's the burst from the muzzle. If y'all ain't no shooters, that's the burst. You know the fire that you see? That's the burn. If I put it on your cheek,
up close, man.
But if I'm in the back seat, I can get that close.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
we been calling back and forth.
Them nigga demon, nigga real. I know a demon. It is.
The prosecutor had said yesterday that the medical examiner is going to testify that before the shots were fired into the vehicle, that your son and Anthony, they were already dead. When those shots went into the vehicle, they had already been shot, and the fatal shots came from the back seat. And that's the testimony that's expected.
Yes, ma'am. My understanding, yes, the shot that Chris left cheek was the fatal shot that took him out. And then when he staged the drive-by, the shots from the back, they could tell by the way Chris' body was slumped over how, like, it was staged after the fact. Yeah, that's going to come out. I can't wait. That's going to be like breaking news. Chris wasn't killed in the drive-by. I know that for a fact.
One thing that Christine Bradley said yesterday was that in the days leading up to this, Melly was learning the oath of loyalty to the G-Shine blood set, to a gang. Did you know anything about that? Had your son ever discussed anything with you about this gang that Melly was allegedly becoming a part of?
Private life on his own, separate from Kristen. And Christine, or the lawyers, was always saying that Chris lived in Miramar. Chris never lived down there. He lived in Gifford. Florida. He might go down there for a day or two, but he always had the same address, same house, same everything, up until his time of passing.
Well, I wanted to play some clips from the trial so far. And Chris, I want to get your feelings on some of what was said in opening statements. This is Christine Bradley, the assistant state attorney, talking about what amounts to possibly a confession in this case.